appears to be no life anywhere about. All is silence. You know that by far the largest part of the vessel is underwater, out of sight. You know that the ship is as large and as heavy as a 20-story skyscraper. You know that there are hundreds of men ready to spring to their appointed task instantly. You know that every department is in charge of able, trained, skilled officials who have proven themselves competent to take charge of this marvelous piece of mechanism. You know that although it lies apparently oblivious to everything else, it has eyes which sees everything for miles around, and nothing is permitted to escape its watchful vision. You know that while it appears quiet, submissive, and innocent, it is prepared to hurl a steel projectile weighing thousands of pounds at an enemy many miles away. This, and much more, you can bring to mind with comparatively no effort whatsoever.
Chlorella is absolutely...
But how did the battleship come to be where it is? How did it come into existence in the first place? All of this you want to know if you are a careful observer.
Beloved family members wearing an Earth vessel, we, the Arcturians, speaking to you within this now, wish to remind you that you are beginning your transition. Since there are so very many expressions of being a human within your now, we the Arcturians wish to share what we have seen from observing your bravery and creativity. First off, many of you have mastered the art of remaining calm-centered in the face of great transition. Not only is your outer world changing faster and faster, but your physical body is also altering more and more. Now these changes are usually not obvious, or even known, but deep inside, many of you are beginning to feel as if something has shifted. Or, you ask yourself, perhaps it is that something has shifted within your daily life. The answer, yes, all of these components of your life are changing. These changes are being initiated because your third and fourth dimensional reality of time and space is transitioning into your fifth dimensional reality of here and now. We, the fifth dimensional and beyond components of your true multidimensional self, are observing you from our fifth dimensional ships and from our fifth dimensional home worlds. You see, within our fifth dimensional consciousness, there is no time or space to separate us from the perceptions of your reality. Some of us have even visited your third and fourth dimensional world, which made us greatly appreciate your courage and tenacity in the face of great transition. We realize that in some ways, humanity has had a more difficult life since they learned of our existence, because the dreams and inner messages that they have received for most of their lives are now revealed as truths and memories. These truths are so close to your hearts and minds, but so distant from their daily lives. It is for this reason that we have been visiting you more often in our ships, as well as in your dreams and imagination. Yes, imagination resonates to the frequency of our fifth dimensional reality. In fact, imagination is the language that we, your galactic family, always speak. This fifth dimensional language, which often feels like just my imagination in our daily life, is sent to you in a package of unconditional love for each and every one of you to accept and translate in the manner which best fits your belief system. We wish to remind you that your higher dimensional expressions of the consciousness, as well as your own thoughts and emotions, are becoming increasingly fifth dimensional. You may wonder why a particular thought or emotion suddenly enters your mind. We ask that you, now, begin the habit of carefully listening to these random thoughts, emotions, and that which you call daydreams, as this information is often your first conscious experiences of light language. Light language is fifth dimensional language. Therefore, this language is no longer bound by third and fourth dimensional time and space, as there is no time or space in light language. Light language resonates to the here of the now, and serves as your portal to experiencing the fifth dimension. We wish to remind you that you do not need to go to the fifth dimension because you are fifth dimensional, just as you also resonate to the sixth, seventh, eighth, and beyond. However, for many of you, your consciousness has been trapped inside of your third dimensional vessel, which has been human vessel since the fall of Lemuria. What occurred in the fall of Lemuria is that the great interdimensional communication that was innate to the Lemurians became lost, along with their island home in the Pacific Ocean. In fact, many of the Lemurian people were lost along with their continent. However, more and more Lemurians are deciding to take an Earth vessel within this now, as they see that there is,
for 9 months or 2 months or however long, you choose to.
It's a possible reality which would resonate to the fifth dimension, just as Lemurians resonated to the fifth dimension. Now, as Gaia is becoming increasingly fifth dimensional, more and more of you are having memories of your life on Lemuria, of your telepathic communications, and of your bodies of light, which you could alter with your every thought. Back in your lives on Lemuria, your language was one of toning and melody, and your vision was based on patterns of light that flowed and altered. It would be very difficult for a modern-day person to visit Lemuria, as they could not understand what the light waves were saying, nor could they hear the tones which arose from every living tree, plant, lake, and drop of rain. All of Gaia spoke then, and if you could understand unconditional love, you could understand how all life spoke to you via the patterns, tones, and flashes of images that blurred into pictures and tones. You likely were not aware that it was your ability to love all life unconditionally that allowed and guided you to perceive Gaia in the same manner that Gaia perceived her planetary self. Yes, just as you humans can perceive your own human body, Gaia can perceive her own planetary body. We invite you all to meditate on remembering your lives on Lemuria, as they were fifth dimensional, just as the life that you will soon be creating and entering. As you remember your former lives of living as one with all life, the 98% of your brain member which has been closed off from you will begin to come back online. You forgot these ancient memories because of the many lives on third-dimensional Earth that was constantly filled with fighting some country or pushing away some form of indoctrination. In fact, as you go back to your early beginnings, it will assist you to move forward to your impending present. Humanity has lived via repeated cycles of birth, gaining power, losing their power, and experiencing death. As you begin to remember your fifth-dimensional, timeless realities, you will regain a great sense of hope and constancy with all life. You will feel this constancy with all life because you will begin to allow yourself to flow into the ever-expanding and
start off by saying that, my name is Smile.
energy fields that you will be able to perceive as they surround and flow through and beyond all life. One of the primary reasons that the life on Earth has been so difficult is that your perceptual, which was rich and filled with color and imagination as a child, became dimmed and inconsequential as you became trapped in the many challenges of daily life in the third dimension. Fortunately, more and more of you are finding the time to meditate, be creative, write your dreams, and express your creativity. When you express your innate means of creativity, your active neurons and synapses in your brain have almost
Follow the
become
great
dormant
steel
for
plates
lack
through
of
the
use.
foundries. See
When
the
you were a
thousands of men
child,
employed in
you
their
still
production.
remembered your fifth dimensional
Go still
creativity.
further back and see the ore as it comes from the mine. See it loaded on the barges or cars. See it melted and properly treated. Go back still further and see the architect and the engineers who planned the vessel. Let the thought carry you back still further in order to determine why they planned the vessel. You will see that you are now so far back that the vessel is something intangible. It no longer exists. It is now only a thought existing in the brain of the architect. But from where did the order come to plan the vessel? probably from the Secretary of Defense. But probably this vessel was planned long before the war was thought of, and that Congress had to pass a bill appropriating the money. Possibly, there was an opposition and speeches for or against the bill. Whom do these congressmen represent? They represent you and me, so that our line of thought begins with the battleship and ends with ourselves. And we find, in the last Annals, that our own thought is responsible for this and many other things, of which we seldom think. And a little further reflection will develop the most important facts of all, and that is, if someone had not discovered the law by which this tremendous mass of steel and iron could be made to float upon the water, instead of immediately going to the bottom, the battleship could not have come into existence at all. This law is that the specific gravity of any substance is the weight of any volume of it compared with an equal volume of water. The discovery of this law revolutionized every kind of ocean travel, commerce, and warfare, and made the existence of the battleship, aircraft carriers, and cruise ships possible. You'll find exercises of this kind invaluable. When the thought has been trained to look below the surface, everything takes on different appearances. The insignificant becomes significant. The uninteresting becomes interesting. The things which we suppose to be of no importance are seen to be the only real, vital things in existence. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. From the Sanskrit.
In fact, many of you still remembered your fifth-dimensional self. However, as you grew up, you were increasingly judged by the concept of authority figures who told you not to waste your time with your silly imagining. Focus on your homework, clean your room, get to school on time, get good grades, and all the other components of reality that you were told you must do. As you continued to grow up, there were more and more things that someone else told you that you had to do. Eventually, doing was the same as minding, and someone else would grade you on your creativity. Was it good enough for them to like? You asked yourself. And each time you asked yourself that question, you moved further and further away from the core of who you are. We, the Arcturians, along with your entire galactic family, are here within this now to remind you that you are the creator of your reality. Oh, but I don't have time to be creative. They won't like my kind of creativity. I won't get good grades if I don't do it the way they want me to do it. And the list goes on and on until, somewhere along the line, you just give up being you to become the better version that they told you to be. Now they may feel very happy about this transition, but you do not feel happy. You feel like you sold out and became who they want you to be. But, too often, by the time you realize that, you also realize that it is too late to change. You have a family, a position, a reputation, etc. It is too late to go back to who you really are. You try to tell yourself, but your real, deep, inner self won't have it. No. You hear yourself yelling as you wake up from that dream you keep having. No. You tell yourself again and again until you can no longer hear yourself saying that. You finally believe what they said, over what your own heart and mind is still trying to tell you. No. You yell at yourself, I have to do this. No. You bargain with yourself. It is too late to change now. I have come too far on this path and I can't change now. Right now I just have to drive home from work. You turn up the radio in the car so you don't have to listen to yourself saying, "It is never too late to be yourself." Be myself? You yell at the radio, as if it was forcing you to hear this message again and again. But it doesn't work. You keep hearing, "I need to be myself." But, what does that mean? You have been a good person, and you have done what they have told you to do. Isn't that being a good person? You yell at the car radio. You pull over to the side of the road, as you can no longer focus on driving. You can't see well, but could it not be the tears that are welling up in your eyes? Then, the dam bursts and you begin to feel the tears running down your face, and you begin to cry, then you begin to sob, then, finally, you yell. Just who is this self that I am supposed to be? You are not supposed to be anyone. We are only wondering if you would like to be yourself. That does it. There is nothing like the truth to make you cry like a baby. You cry, and it feels so good to recognize why you have been so tense. Why you have a stomach ache whenever you eat. Why you can't sleep at night, or wake up with bad dreams. What you don't realize, yet, is why you allowed your life to go in this direction. I was just trying to please them. You hear yourself say. But, who is this them, and where? It's so good to recognize why you have been